Packers will have a first and goal. Receiver to the right, Jimmy Graham. Rodgers, quick toss in the flat, left side, got his man for the end zone, and a touchdown.
First and Goal podcast on Spreaker.com. And we're now on all your favorite platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can always follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod and our Facebook page, facebook.com/First and Goal Pod 33. Get
money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Every day I'm 3, 2, 1.
And welcome, everybody, to another live edition of First and Goal with me, your founder and producer, Jay in the UP. And as always, down in Georgia, and it's Tuesday, so we got two guys here. Our host with the most, Dave, and the fantasy man himself, Dillon Busby.
What's up, First and Goal? What's up, fantasy freaks?
Oh, Dillon, it's so glad to hear your voice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's wonderful day to hear your voice. Yes, it is. So, guys, we're going to jump right into it with Dave.
Oh, yay, the news. Yeah, there's some news going around today. Actually, the past couple of days.
Dave?
So, big fights have been happening all over the NFL, and a big one happened yesterday. Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton for the Denver Broncos were apparently not just throwing punches, they were throwing haymakers at each other. And it's kind of funny because Emmanuel Sanders is like 5'10", 5'11", maybe like a 200 at most. And Cortland Sutton is 6'4", 6'5", about 220 to 230. All I picture is this big brother picking on little brother and just like holding the top of his head while Sanders is trying to throw punches. I'm not saying he can't fight. It's just, it's such an uneven matchup.
What happened to respecting your elders?
When the little guy gets inside, the tall guy is screwed.
Yeah, but when the tall guy is able to keep the little guy away, that's the thing.
That never happens. You guys wear out too fast.
You guys keep the complexes out of this.
Hey, listen, I just want to say this right now. Jay, are you sitting dangling your feet off your stool?
I don't have a stool anymore. I told you, I got a new chair I stole from my daughter. God,
well, that makes it even better. Steal from your children. How dare you?
Yeah, but you know what the kicker is? She got a pink chair, and then the chair that I should have got from the people that we were helping move, they moved to New Zealand. The chair I should have got, which is a really nice chair from the guy's office that he had, you know, he couldn't fit it in his moving thing. Very awesome, like, guy's, like, den chair. And now I have this chair that if I don't sit just right, I'll tip over backwards. So if you ever hear me crash, it's because of that. And my daughter has
tell me
the
we get to hear
chair.
that tonight. That'll be so worth it.
It happened twice last episode. You just didn't
Did you
hear
meet
it.
yourself as your machine? This guy frostbite, I mean, is he doing this or is John Gruden putting him through it? Because all I picture is John Gruden, like, putting them through this rigorous workout, and I don't think Antonio Brown's ready for this Oakland Raider life.
Hey.
Mr. Big Chest with Mr. Soft Feet.
Well, when you throw bricks around in loafers.
Did we ever establish for sure whether he said Mr. Big Checks or Mr. Big Chest? Because honestly, Mr. Big Chest doesn't make much sense for him. Big Checks, now
no, he's
that
tiny.
does. I'm just saying. It's never, I don't think, ever officially been established. People just ran with Big Chest. I still believe he was saying Big Checks, but he was running on a treadmill.
No, he's not the type of guy that gets a big chest. He's a little guy. But he plays like a big guy.
Well, I wasn't like disparaging the guy. I just think everybody's been calling him by the wrong nickname.
It's kind of hard to discourage Antonio Brown. The guy plays like he's 6'5".
I said they were disparaging
Stop picking the little people,
him.
Jay.
Disparaging, not discouraging. Do we have to get a grammar book
All
out
right,
here?
Shut up, Dylan. Anyways, moving on to other news, my own Green Bay Packers, along with Jay's Packers, waive the long-time backup Jason Spriggs. He just was injured. He couldn't cut it at guard or tackle. And now with Cole Madison coming back and getting Elton Jenkins and Billy Turner jumping in and taking a starting spot, it's just, and plus Lucas Patrick has been looking good. You also have Justin McCray. There's a lot of solid depth there along the line. And, well, yeah, I was just naming a few, but that just to name the depth. But Spriggs just wasn't cutting it. He was getting beat in camp when he was healthy, and it just wasn't pretty. So they let him go, and they ended up signing Keith Ford, the running back, who was claimed by the Colts in the OTAs a little bit ago. Just let him go on waivers. Packers picked him up. He played with the Bills last season and actually got some playing time in the real games. So
Dave,
he does have experience there.
How many running backs does that make on the 90-man roster now?
That's 7, but we only have 3 active because everyone's getting injured.
I don't care who's active.
I do. It's a big asterisk.
There is no asterisks in camp. If they wanted all these wide receivers, then why would they keep cutting guys from other positions and adding running backs? Explain that.
We will get to this later with Ryan. We can't get into this now because we have news, sir.
Being combative.
Anyways,
I am re-energized back from vacation.
I can tell. We'll spend a lot of time with those lumberjacks in the woods. Anyways, so the Cowboys have tried to reach out to Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott's representation of people have told the Cowboys he is not coming back unless he gets a new contract. He told them way back in January, told them again now, this might be a Le'Veon Bell season for Ezekiel Elliott. And I think Jerry might call his bluff because Jerry has done that with people in the past, and just like Emmitt Smith came back. But there wasn't this type of money that they're dealing with. And Ezekiel Elliott's promotions and endorsements would actually make more than what he's making on his rookie contract right now. That's how much he'd be able to save rather than losing money. So really, Jerry's the one taking the hit because you take Zeke away, you take Cowboys away.
The Cowboys were going nowhere this year anyway. Nowhere.
Well, the way they're going right now, they haven't paid Dak, Zeke, or Cooper. They haven't paid anyone.
Well, I think Jerry's statement the other day, last week, he said something about being able to win a Super Bowl without a bell cow back.
Yeah, that was kind of a shot in the face to Zeke, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to help the situation.
I think that was music to Mr. Busby's ears, though.
Yeah, I know, but he has Zeke this year in fantasy.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. I have 2 keepers in this particular league, one being Le'Veon Bell and one being Ezekiel Elliott. And
why would you pick those 2?
I wrote those guys for 2 straight championships, and now the karma's coming back for me.
Basically, what Dillon
did
was he went from being a pig who was winning championships to now he's a hog and he's going to get slaughtered.
That's it.
We warned you about those damn running backs, man.
You don't tell me my friend's going to get slaughtered.
I didn't say I was going to do it.
Here's why I think Zeke's situation is different. Le'Veon only had, I believe he was going into the last year of his contract.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. So Zeke would lose a season toward free agency, and he could definitely, sit out, come in. Well, I think week 10 he can still show up and get paid for this season, and potentially do it all again next year. But I mean, is that really how he wants? I don't know how much he really cares about his image, considering all the off the field incidents. But if he cares
the current one
reputation, right, about his reputation among his peers, I don't think he wants to be known as the guy that just sits out until week 10 and then shows up.
I honestly think that the best thing for Zeke is going to be getting out of Dallas. He's not going to get paid there. They're in a predicament with who they have to pay and the amount of money they're going to have to pay out. And he is, because of the running back in the modern era and the way that the contracts and the way it's set up now, and he's not going to be able to ride it out because of the CBA. He is still 2 years out, you know. He's if he doesn't force a trade, he has zero leverage. He's either going to be a Dallas Cowboy until they run his ass into the ground, or he does what he's doing now and forces his way out so that he can get paid. But then, therefore, it's a catch-22 because it's just like the Jets. Le'Veon Bell got paid, but do you think Le'Veon Bell's winning a championship over the terms of that contract? And do you really think Le'Veon Bell is going to be healthy and see all that money in that contract? No. But for the time being, he feels like a winner because he wasn't going to get paid. This is the exact same scenario with Ezekiel Elliott, and he's in an even worse position because not only has he got 2 years left on his contract of his rookie deal because of fifth-year option, he also has 2 years left where they can franchise him, and even if he doesn't, he either plays or he sits at home and gets zero money. So he's essentially screwed in this scenario, whether he likes it or not. His best-case scenario is, if he really wants money, is to force a trade out of Dallas, but therefore he has to understand he's essentially walking away from any chance of ever putting a ring on his finger. That's the kind of case, in particular, the trend I've seen with running backs as of late. That's the choice they have to make. They have to make and don't give me Todd Gurley, because Todd Gurley is going to be cut after next year. He's done. Like, this arthritis stuff is only going to get worse. Well, I'm telling you.
You heard it here first.
Arthritis in your knees. I don't care how young you are. You're done. They paid him a lot of money. You got to look at how the guaranteed money is structured. They'll be paid pretty much, paid most of that out where it won't be a huge so. And they're already loading up on backs. I'm just saying that's the scenario that Zeke needs to. He's got to make a decision right now.
I got a scenario for you, possibly, with Zeke.
Go for it.
Houston Texans have plenty of cap room left. What if they did a trade for Zeke to get him out of there, and Zeke takes over, and Lamar Miller goes to the Cowboys, so you're getting him back for a back, but you're obviously going to give up some picks, maybe another player or two, but...
Well, the Texans don't have GM, so that's what's making it hard for them right now. And
yeah, they have 4 personnel running there, yeah.
Foreman.
That's what makes sense, though. They have room.
Well, they have room, but they want Lamar to be the feature guy. From what I've heard, they're just looking for more of a third down back to complement him.
Well, there's Houston, there's Indy, too. Indy could be a possibility.
Indy's not going to do it because they're trying to concentrate on helping that quarterback stay healthy and building that defense up. You want to look at places, you're looking at places like Buffalo, Arizona, Tampa Bay. What else would pop out of my head that's kind of in that scenario? San Francisco.
Tampa Bay's got Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber. They've got 2 backs.
Except for those guys are not in the image of a Bruce Arians. You got to think of who their coach is now. Bruce Arians loves that.
What about Miami? What about Kalen Balaj or Kenyon Drake swap for?
Nope. That's the Belichick system.
I like
He's
Kenyon
not
Drake
going to go after a back like that. He's going to use that 3-back tier, and where they don't have a feature back. Got to look at the coaches where they came from.
You don't have a feature back.
Well, I don't need a featured back. I'm not a damn coach.
I'm sorry, I have to get you all riled up.
Listen, if I was Zeke, here's what I would do.
I am my feature back. You know that from the Homer Green.
If I'm Zeke, I'm giving you my bell cow week. I'm giving you the 100 yards and a touchdown. And then maybe next week my knee's acting up and I don't feel like playing this week. So I do it like in every other type of thing if I were him.
Dylan, what do you think if Zeke was supposedly traded to another team? Who do you think he'd fit with?
You're asking moi?
Yeah, moi. So I said Dylan.
Makes sense. That's really the only team that I've considered that makes a lot of sense for Tampa. Just because, Ronald Jones ain't done shit. And I like Peyton Barber a lot, but obviously he's not going to go it. So I don't think he gets traded. I don't think any of that stuff happens. I do think at the end of the day, Jerry sees this window as their time to win the